Right, let's try this, shall we? I wanted to make a video on why I love my RX8 and what I like or love about it. And I think we can start really at the looks. I absolutely love the way this car looks. I know beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, but this is a car, I've had it now for over 4 years. I've had an RX8 before this one. I cannot park it and just walk away. Every time I take it for a drive and I park it somewhere, I need to turn around and look at it. And I think the RX8 has always looked striking. When it came out for the first time 20 years ago, it was already completely different than anything else that was on the road at the time. And I'm gonna sound like a boomer now, but 20 years ago all cars looked different, right? You could recognize any brand really just by the overall shape of the car from far away. You could recognize a car just by the shape of its tail light. I mean, it's back in a time where just looking at a gauge cluster or an instrument cluster, you know, a dashboard, you could tell which manufacturer that car belonged to. All that is gone nowadays. And the RX8 even looks more beautiful or more striking than it used to, because every other car on the road looks exactly the same. You know, I'm driving now and I'm surrounded by ugly crossovers and SUVs, and they all look the same. I mean, they're all clones of each other. They all have the same shape, they all have the same ugly front with a big flat grille, they all have the same tail light design. I mean, even manufacturers know it. They've given up on badges now. They have to write the brand in big letters on the boot and the bonnet so people can go, oh yeah, you know, that's a Peugeot. So in the middle of that sea of cloned SUVs and crossovers, the RX8 really stands out now. It stood out 20 years ago and it stands out even more. And the looks is just not only on the outside, it's also on the inside. If you can go past the cheap plastic, but remember that was actually a cheap car when it came out, right? So Mazda had to cut corners somewhere. If you remove the cheap plastic, it's a nice place to be. It's just you have everything you need where you need it and nothing else. And the gauge cluster is really nice. This is a really nice place to be as a driver, during daytime especially, but nighttime particularly. It's just the night mode on the dashboard, and it's just a nice place to be. It's a nice, good looking car. That's my opinion. That's reason number one why I like my RX8. Reason number two, it's gonna be controversial. The 13B engine. Whoa. Epic seals everywhere. I really like this engine. I can't fault it. Does it drink petrol? Yes, it does, like its life depends on it. Does it drink oil? Yes, it does. Almost as much as a Toyota nowadays. Is it going to last forever? No. You know, you will be in need of an engine rebuild at some point. When you need an engine rebuild will really depend on a lot of factors, right? The mood of the rotary gods on any given day, your luck, but also how you've maintained that car and how you've driven it. So, you know, it has a limited shelf life, budget accordingly. Beside that, this is such a nice engine. It is very simple. I've been told, I'm not a mechanic, but it is very simple to work on. It is very small. I have half of the previous engine as an ornament on my chimney mantelpiece. It's relatively light for an engine, and it means it sits low and close to the cabin in the car. It is very rev happy. It is linked to a really nice, relatively lightweight flywheel. So it is very, very happy to rev, and it is extremely smooth. I just love it. It's a great engine. When you're on the motorway and you can hear it, you know, buzzing around in almost in the background, it feels like it just wants to go forever. And when you take it on a little B road and you push it a little bit, it's just as smooth at 2000 RPM as it is at 8000 RPM. There's no vibrations coming from that engine, no hesitation to rev. It is smooth as butter, and I really like that. So that's reason number 2. How about the third reason? The gearbox. Now, I drive a 4-port, UK spec 4-port Rx8. I know that in several countries, the 4-port is usually an automatic car. In the UK, the 4-port came with a 5-speed manual gearbox. I can't judge, I can't speak on behalf of the 6-speed manual gearbox that comes with Rx8 across the world. I can talk about the 5-speed gearbox in the 4-port engine, you know, that comes with the 4-port engine. It's not a perfect gearbox. I think a lot of the gears feel gated, but it feels pure analog and mechanical, and it is a very, very smooth gearbox if you use the correct oil and once it's up to temperature. So it's a little bit nutty, a little bit crunchy when it's cold, but once it's up to temperature, it's fantastic. I might be wrong, but I've been told by a fair few people the gearbox, the 5-speed gearbox in the Rx8 is actually the 5-speed gearbox from the Rx7 FD, just in a different bell housing. It feels mechanical. I mean, it's not connected to the gear lever, is not connected to the gearbox with cables or links. The gear lever is connected directly into the gearbox. When you remove the gearbox on an Rx8, you just drop it and the gear lever just drops with it, it's attached to it. And therefore you have a direct connection with your gearbox. It is mechanical. It feels like you're chambering around in a bolt action rifle. I'm gonna have the police coming around to me now with that, but that type of formula, that's true. If you've ever gone, you know, hunting, if you've ever used the bolt action rifle, you will know exactly what I mean. It proper just gets in, it's mechanical, you feel how it works, and I absolutely love that. Short throw, lovely clutch. It's not the best to do very, very fast, you know, to roll through all of your gears very, very fast. But it's nice, it's tight, and it's, you know, it's very precise. Where are we at? Was it number 4 then, or number 3? Anyway, it doesn't matter. What else do I like about the Rx8? The chassis. I like the chassis. This car is properly sorted. People moan the Rx8 is not, you know, very fast in a straight line, and that's true. It's not a dragster. It doesn't have, you know, tons of power. It's not gonna win you races at the lights. Do people still do that? Anyway, it's not going to win you straight light speed trophies. But remember, when that car was first tested around the Top Gear track, it lapped that track as fast as a Nissan 350Z and a BMW M3. So that's not slow. This car is actually out of the box a track weapon, and you feel it driving normally. it's very nimble. It's relatively light. It's very nimble, very agile, and it's the kind of car that just makes you smile going around a roundabout and driving at legal speed. And the suspension is fantastically tuned. It has a little bit of lean into it. Some people don't like it. I do. I do like a little bit of lean in the suspension because it shows me where the limits are. It shows me, oh, careful, you're getting close to the limit now of the car. It's sporty enough that it holds the road when you drive fast, but it is supple and soft enough that it is really, really comfortable long distance. You take a modern sports car, and they're rough, aren't they? They feel a bit rough, especially on the beautiful roads we have here in the UK. I can't comment. We have the same roads in Belgium. We have the same manufacturer, it seems. It's very easy to have a car crashing from one pothole to another, but the Rx8 actually just lifts through that relatively nicely. It smooths out the road fairly well, and it makes it a very, very nice, comfortable long-distance cruiser. You're not getting to your destination having lost all of your feelings and cracked your spine or with a sore bum. And when you start pushing it, it's hard enough to keep you on the road, stable enough to keep you on the road, yet compliant enough that maybe not around a track, but on a fast road, scenario, it's actually forgiving. It makes you look better than you are as a driver, and it will forgive you some mistakes that other cars would punish you for it. So altogether, you have a chassis, an engine, and a gearbox that work hand in glove, really. It works fantastically well. There are synergies, between them, and it makes it for a driver's car. It is what it is. It's a driver's car. It might not be everyone's cup of tea. It's a very quirky car. It has requirements a normal car doesn't have. But as a driver's car, as a machine to bring you pleasure, fantastic. Best therapy I've ever had. You cannot help taking a couple of turns, a couple of bends. You cannot help but smile. It's how this car makes you feel, and it's completely analog. It feels completely analog. The steering is extremely darty. Actually, the steering is very responsive. And I know it's an electrically assisted. Yeah, it feels almost hydraulically assisted. It's got some beef to it. It's beefy. It's got some, you can't move it just with one finger. And the faster you go, the harder it goes, the harder it gets. You get, with the right wheels and the right tires, you get fantastic feedback from the front wheel. You know exactly what each wheel does and where you are on the road, and you can really dial it in. Very precise little machine, this. Because it's a mid-engine car, front mid-engine car, every time you turn the wheel, it feels like the whole car actually rotates around you. You're at the center of the car and the whole block moves around you, and it makes it feel darty, it makes it feel alive. Yet, it's relatively comfortable, it tracks straight, it's relatively comfortable to drive, and it's not going to require you adjusting the car, trajectory all the time. All the noises, this car is full of noises. So you have the engine noise, you have exhaust noise, especially if you put an aftermarket exhaust. You have induction noises, especially if you put an induction kit on it. But then you have gearbox whine. If you have braided oil lines, you're gonna hear them vibrate too. Come on. That noise, it's addictive. So you have that engine very, very smooth at low revs, and then it starts howling as you push through. When it idles, you can hear the two Doritos spinning inside the engine case. There's no mistaking it for a normal engine. You can actually hear there's something rotating inside. So you always have all of those different noises: induction, exhaust, engine noises, gearbox whine. And it's an occasion, all of your senses participate to the action of just driving. You don't get that in a modern car. People are like, oh, 200 horsepower, it's not enough. The RX8 could do with, 100, 200 horsepower more. For what? Why would I need 300 or 400 horsepower? Where and when could I enjoy that safely, right? Am I going to put my foot down through town? Take the risk of swiping an old pensioner as I just speed through, maybe flatten somebody's cat, catch a mum pushing a pram. And sure, out and out speed can be fun, right? But when can you exploit it? I have to floor this car through the first and second gear to get to 60 miles per hour, right? Red line, I'm at 62, 63 miles per hour. That's fun. Drive a slow car fast, much more fun than drive a fast car slow all the time. In a 400 horsepower car, you'll feel like you have to hold out. You can't exploit it. The most fun I've ever had was in a clapped out Polo. I think it had a 1.1 or 1.3 litre engine, probably the whole of 40 horsepower. 4-speed manual gearbox. There was an issue with the brakes, so you couldn't touch the brake pedal. There was no ABS, very obviously. You couldn't touch the brake pedal or all 4 wheels would lock up. And if you'd come to a standstill, the car would not idle. Driving that through town was the most fun I've ever had in any car. That car was good to bin, and I think it was binned a couple of weeks after I drove it. But you had to have a foot on the accelerator at all times, so the engine wouldn't stall. You had to hold the steering wheel with 2 hands, because as soon as you touched the brake pedal, all 4 wheels would lock up and the car would just crab around. Most fun I've ever had in a car. It was just... I probably was going 20 miles per hour, everywhere I was going, but Jesus, was it fun. So yes, this car is all about, it's an occasion. Every time you drive it, it's an occasion. It's about the sensation. You might not go that fast, but it feels you're going fast. It sounds like you're going fast. And again, remember, it went around the Top Gear track at the same time as a BMW M3. Nobody has ever called an M3 slow. Well, I think that's it for this segment, really.